The sun was setting over Santa Monica Pier, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Families strolled with cotton candy, street performers entertained small crowds, and the sound of waves crashing beneath the wooden planks blended with laughter and chatter. Among the crowd was Emily Carter, a 17-year-old girl in a wheelchair. Emily wasn't born disabled. 2 years ago, a car accident had stolen the use of her legs. Since then, life had been a constant battle. Not just with her body, but with people's stares, whispers, and sometimes, their cruelty. She came to the pier that evening simply to breathe, to feel alive again, to watch the ocean and remind herself that the world was still beautiful. But not everyone saw her that way. As Emily stopped near the railings to gaze at the water, 3 teenage boys swaggered past. Loud, rowdy, trying too hard to look tough. One of them sneered, nudging the other. "Move, Cripple," he shouted. The words cut through the air like a blade. Emily froze. She wasn't new to insults, but hearing them in public, so loud, so brazen, still burned. She tried to push her chair aside, but before she could, another boy kicked the wheel, spinning her around. The crowd nearby looked, but no one stepped forward. Some averted their eyes. Some even chuckled nervously. Emily's heart pounded. She wanted to scream, but her throat felt locked. The boys laughed, circling her like predators. "Bet you wish you could stand up and fight us," one of them mocked. And then, everything changed. The deep, rolling sound of engines filled the pier. One motorcycle, then two, then what felt like dozens. Heads turned as a wave of bikers, leather jackets gleaming under the fading sun, rolled onto the pier. Their presence was overwhelming, loud, raw, unstoppable. The bullies froze, their smirks fading. The lead biker, a tall man with a graying beard and tattoos curling down his arms, swung off his Harley. He walked straight toward Emily, crouched beside her, and asked softly, "Are you okay, sweetheart?" His voice was gentle, but carried the authority of someone who had seen too much of life to tolerate cruelty. Emily nodded, still trembling. The man stood, his eyes locking on the boys. The rest of the bikers closed in, forming a wall of leather and chrome around the girl. Their engines idled like growling beasts. One woman in the group revved her bike deliberately, making the wooden boards beneath them vibrate. "Pick on someone your own size," the bearded biker said, his tone calm but edged with steel. The boys tried to laugh it off, but their voices cracked. The crowd that had been silent moments earlier began to shift, whispers rising, phones coming out to record. Now the bullies were the ones under the spotlight. "You think you're tough, kicking a girl in a wheelchair?" another biker snapped. His voice boomed across the pier. "That's not tough, that's pathetic." Emily's eyes filled with tears, not from fear anymore, but from something else. For the first time in years, strangers weren't looking at her with pity. They were standing for her, not against her. The boys, pale and shaken, muttered weak excuses and bolted, disappearing into the crowd. Silence lingered for a moment, broken only by the rumble of engines and the crashing waves below. Then, something unexpected happened. The bikers didn't just scare off the bullies, they stayed. The bearded man adjusted Emily's chair, making sure it wasn't damaged. Another biker handed her a teddy bear he'd won from a game booth earlier. A woman pulled out her phone and said, "Let's take a picture, you're family now." Emily laughed, a sound she hadn't heard from herself in far too long. For years she had felt invisible, broken, like life had left her behind. But that evening, surrounded by strangers on roaring bikes, she felt powerful, she felt seen. As the sun dipped fully below the horizon, the sea of bikers escorted Emily down the pier, their engines echoing like thunder, a protective force around her fragile frame. That night, Santa Monica Pier witnessed something unforgettable, not the cruelty of 3 boys, but the strength of unity, the roar of compassion, and the unshakable spirit of a girl who realized she wasn't alone.